all was the people. Now we come on to the process. So there were people, process, and technology. Now we are on the process. So process is basically creating a SOP and following it. So we need to, create roles and responsibilities for each and every people out there. What will the incident responder do? What will be the threat intelligence finders do? What will be the L2, L3 do? So these are the process that needs to be, created and scripted so that, if any, so that the consistency is there. So as a round the clock environment is there, so shift is changing, people are changing, but the, method to perform the task should remain the same. Okay, so we need to lay out the business processes, technology processes, operational processes, analytical processes. Now here, uh, technology process is something that if a new request for a new application is there, suppose in a bank a new application is developed. Now that will, communicate with a server. So some ports for that application needs to be opened and some IPs need to be whitelisted. So what will be the process for that? What will be the SOP for that? So that is a technology process. So these needs to be cleared out and approved by a board or something, security board or CISO or any organization setup that is in an organization. So technology processes are there. So then there is analytical process. Analytical processes are basically how to analyze a DDoS. So how to analyze a breach. So not a breach, breach is a general word. So suppose a DDoS attack is there. Now, which all parameters are there to categorically say that okay, this is a DDoS, this is a low level DDoS, this is a high level DDoS. So these are basically the process that needs to be created for an efficient and smooth functioning of a SOC. So we should know that if a breach has occurred, what is the reporting procedure? What is the response procedure? It should not be that the breach has occurred or something is down, we don't know what to do. We should have a process set before an incident occurs. Okay, so processes are very important in a SOC. So, and this is also changing process. Suppose one incident occurs and we followed some process and we found that no, this is missing. So that needs to be updated. So processes are not at once made, they are not to be changed, they are to be updated regularly. Cyber security is a ever changing process, so we can't just sit around. Then we come on to the third pillar, that is the technology. So these are the technology tools that are part of SOC. So firewall we all know. So firewall basically blocks the connection that we don't want. Then there is IDS, IPS. So IDS is intrusion detection system, IPS is intrusion prevention system. So these are basically security devices that detect or prevent, basically depending on their function, if an intrusion has occurred or not. Then anti-spyware we all know, antivirus software. So not going into that. Then there is a rogue host detection. Now, rogue host detection is a detection software that scans the routers and all the devices to detect any new system is found in a network. Let's take an example of a bank only. So there's a branch of PNB. Now in that server, there are suppose 15 computers connected to the branch server. Now a new, handheld device is connected to the one of the machines. Suppose the branch manager connects his phone to the office system. Now this is generally not to be done because the phone might be having vulnerabilities and malwares which can travel into the network. So this rogue host detection detects if any new host is connected to the network or not. So whenever it is connected, it raises an alarm in the SOC. So SOC people know, okay, this device is new and should not be there, and immediately escalation is made. So this is a rogue host detection device. Then there is a policy auditor. So basically audits, security audits, we all know they are there. The policy auditor is a IT assessment solution that processes and required for internal and external IT and security audits. Then there is application whitelisting. So application whitelisting is basically allowing some of the application to be accessed. Some are blocked, so some are then we have remote forensics. So suppose a system is down. So at a at a remote place, some ONGC, suppose is an organization. So it has plants and offices all over. So suppose one system there's a security alert or security breach. So they detect it and escalate it. So remote forensics is basically getting onto the remote system and doing the investigation that what all occurred. So this is also SOX part. Then asset management. So which all assets are there in an organization? So suppose there is a ministry department. So there are thousands of machines. So assets management has to be there of all the devices are there, because we need to update them regularly. We need to patch them. So asset management is very important. Then patch management comes under this only. So patch management basically patching new vulnerabilities. All the updates that are there, we have to patch them. Then baseline monitoring. So baseline monitoring is basically, suppose an organization that functions. So we know that average the traffic size is 250 to 400 Mbps per Mbps on a daily basis. Now we detect that today the traffic is a double of that maybe. So why is it that? So this is an situation that needs to be taken care. So we need baselines so that we know, okay, this is not normal. So baseline monitoring is one kind of thing. Then we have a data loss prevention, DLP. So DLP is basically now with the work from home, getting everywhere in IT. So we have very devices connected to organization network. So organizations data is very important. So it should not be vented. So DLP, there are software solutions which safeguard organizations data from getting leaked. Okay, so DLP. So then there is a SIM, security information and event management. I will cover this topic later in the slides. Then flow monitoring is basically monitoring the edge router. So which all IPs are getting into the organization network, and which all communication is happening outside. So to and fro traffic that comes under flow monitoring. A packet capture is a technique of capturing a packet. So some analysis or forensics needs to be done. So packet capture is one thing. So packet analysis is there. So we need to analyze what all the contents in the packet. So sometimes there are crafted packet. So packet looks like it is a genuine packet, but it is not. So it has been modified by attacker. So we need packet capture for that. Then there is a next gen firewall. So firewall basically allows or disallows certain IPs. So next gen firewall has a proxy server also inside it. It has also IDS, IPS. So it combines 4 or 5 security devices functioning into one device. So that is the next gen firewall. Then web application firewall, we all know. So we do not allow some of the websites in an organization, suppose social networking, suppose shopping websites. So, so this is a web application firewall used to block applications at application level at the port 80 or 443 level. Okay, now then a web proxy. So web proxy is used for when there is an organization, large organization. So all of the internet requests, they are forwarded to a web proxy server, and then web proxy server talks to the outside internet and response. So basically natting, it is done through web proxy. Then honeypot. Honeypot is a new concept. Honeypot is not new basically. It's a different concept. So honeypot is a device that is kept inside a network which is not patched and is uh, made vulnerable intentionally. So this is basically giving a attacker or a bad actor, okay, this device, this computer, it is not, everything is open. Suppose 1433 port is open. So the attacker should attack this device. So honeypot detects what all types of new attacks, that are being employed by a attacker. So honeypot is used for cyber threat intelligence to, gather new threat intel, that which all, new methods are there. So this is a honeypot. So there is a honeynet also. So a collection of honeypots is called a honeynet. So then there is a vulnerability scanners. So vulnerability scanners is part of pen testing. So they try and find which all vulnerabilities exist in a system so that they can be patched. Okay. So this is the technology. So these are some of the devices that I already covered: the firewall, the web application firewall, the IDS, IPS, next gen firewalls, automated malware analysis. Then there is proxy, then there is deception devices. Deception devices I have not covered. So deception devices, oh yeah, that's the only honeypots only. They deceive the bad actor. So these are the technology part. Now I told you that SIM is the heart of SOC. So SIM is security information and event management. So as you can see, these all devices, the firewalls, the proxies, the routers, switches, IDS, IPS, DNS, directory, vulnerability scanners, antivirus softwares, access control. So all these devices in an organization, they generate logs. Now these logs are fed into a central device called as a SIM, security information and event management. So SIM basically correlates all these security logs and generates actionable points, as in maybe it generates that this IP is trying to scan us. So it has scanned us 1,000 times in 1 minute, so we need to block this thing. So SIM, we can basically create rules so that a different type of a combining the logs and so SIM, some people confuse SIM as a centralized log collection. No, this is not a only log collection. Log collection is a part of SIM. Okay, so SIM basically supports threat detection and security incident response through real-time collection and historical analysis. So it is basically collecting the logs and it is analyzing based on the prior incidents. So historical analysis it's also done. So, and a wide variety of contextual data sources. So all of the data. So a SIM will be much better when we have many devices of the organization. So more and more security devices logs needs to be captured by the SIM. So incident investigation is done by a SIM. It analyzes historical data also, and what all needs to be done. So we can create rules in a SIM. Okay, so I'll give you a sample rules in the next slide. So also the integration of IOCs. IOCs are indicators of compromise. So basically we know that there is a threat actor. Now it uses certain IPs, or it uses a certain domain, or some other things, so we know that these are the indicators of compromise of a certain threat actor. So we can also add these IOCs into our SIM. Okay, so now I'll be covering a few SIM rules. Now this, yeah, so let's focus here on trigger. So suppose there are 3 or more failed attempts, login attempts in a minute from a single host. Now, if a user is there, it is trying to log in into a system. Now we see 3 or more failed attempts. Now this is a trigger. So because why are 3 or more attempts? This might be someone else trying to get into some system. Also here the timing will be important. At what time this alert is being generated? Suppose it's off office hours, after office hours. Suppose 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. So why a user, is trying to, not in his regular task, trying to log in and it is, failing. So our goal is to, track early warning of a brute force password attack, password guessing by some other, person other than the actual user. So we can create a rule of say repeat attack of a login source. So here the active sources, event sources will be the AD, the syslog of the host, monitored applications. So basically, these are the trigger that will, to achieve this goal. So this is a rule, okay, one sample rule. Then we have another rule, the second one. So it says alert on 15 or more firewall drop. So suppose there are some external IP trying to, communicate. So we have a 15 drop events by single IP in 1 minute. Okay, so this is a early warning for a scam or a worm propagation. So we create a rule to block them. So we should not we should track that IP, that why it is doing such things. So we should be alerted. So SIM basically does that. Okay. Then we have one more. I'll show you. Alert on 10 or more failed attempts from a single IP that is not part of a known network. Okay, so with this work from home thing, so we have VPN connections. So we are facing 10 or more failed events from a single IP address that is not part of a internal network. So we want to identify remote attackers. Okay, so this is a repeat attack foreign rule we have created into a SIM. So the firewall, the antivirus, and the failed login events. These are basically the events that will be responsible for generating this alert. Then we have a alert when a single host sees an identified piece malware. So basically antivirus software. So if we detect some malware is there, so it should alert when a virus, spyware, or other malware is detected on a host. So antivirus will be creating these logs for this. Okay, so these are basically SIM rules. So we have hundreds of rules into a SIM. So many of the routine tasks of the L1 analyst that are more and more being created as a SIM rule so that manual effort is reduced. Okay, so this is SIM. Now the next topic we are covering is a SOAR. So SOAR is a very new concept that is being adopted by a very advanced level security operations center. So SOAR is basically security orchestration, automation, and response. So basically, I'll give you an example. So suppose we see that there is an IP that is trying to scan a system. So in SOAR tool we can create a framework. So if one IP is trying to scan certain number of time, then this should alert the firewall to block that IP. Now, earlier without SOAR, this thing is created that okay, some IP is trying to scan the system. Now this will generate an incident, and the analyst will have to watch this incident, analyze it, and if he finds okay, yeah, this is a genuine thing, it's not a false positive, it's a true positive. It will ask the system admins to block that IP at the firewall level. Now this suppose takes 1 day. What SOAR is capable of, we create rules. The rules creation is a certain difficult task in SOAR, but when we are mature enough and we have created rules, so basically in a minute or less than that, this type of attack or this type of a complete life cycle, that scanning is done, alert generated, and IP blocked at firewall. So this all can be automated using a SOAR. So SOAR is basically having three capabilities. So orchestration, automation, and response. So orchestration is threat and vulnerability management, automation of security operations, and response to security incidents. So this leads to a higher productivity, faster response times. Okay, so this is a generally new concept, and so in very advanced level, SOCs have implemented this thing. This implementation takes time, and maturity takes some years also. So SOAR is as you're seeing that it is very automated. So we need no false positive to be, it should be, uh, implemented into the firewall or some rules. Okay. So this